Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin, and today the speech we're going to be talking about is how to properly recover after the gym. So, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to the gym, but usually after leaving the gym, you're usually, a little bit sore, you're a little bit tired, you're a little bit hungry. Sometimes you're not in the best mood, but it's good that a lot of people go out to the gyms. A lot of people don't even go at all. So, recovery is just as important after the gym as it is going to the gym, and it's just as important as getting ready for the gym. So, some parts of recovery that we're going to talk about are rehydration, active tissue release, and nutrition. So, let's get into it. So, with rehydration, it's honestly best to have as much water going into the gym. It's honestly best to replace that water while you're at the gym. So, maybe if you're in between sets, maybe if you're just waiting on a machine, maybe before you start your next set, right after, it's always good to take a little bit of sip of water. Because when you're working out and you're sweating, you're releasing that water. That water comes out of you. So you need to replace that so that your body and your muscles are able to move and do whatever movement that you need to do. So a lot of the times, what you should do is have about 64 ounces of water a day. Now, when you're working out or when you're moving, when you're doing other things, you're going to need to replace that water. So that 64 ounces isn't going to be enough. So it's best to replace whatever water that you're exerting with, in addition to that 64 ounces of water. So that's always a good idea. Sometimes people use a little bit of salt or maybe a little bit of electrolytes to help replace that water and get those electrolytes back into their muscles. So that's always a good idea. Always try to get just as much water, if not more, than you're exerting to replace that water. Next is going to be about active tissue release. So when you're exercising and you're working out or doing any type of physical activity, that those muscles they start to get knots in there, and what those knots are that's basically the muscle isn't going as smooth as it's supposed to be. So when you start to get those knots, and sometimes it can hurt, and sometimes it can lead to injury, sometimes it can just lead to all other types of problems. So we want to try to get those knots out. Now, some people like to use massage guns. Some people like to use just go get a regular massage. A couple of things that I like to use are these muscle rollers. So usually, what you'll do is you'll take it and then you'll roll out whatever part of the body is sore or whatever part of the body is aching. You can use one of these. It's really good for it. Um, Also, another one I like to use is this one. This one is probably the best. You want to get one that has these little bumps or these little ridges on it. And when you do that, it's, very effective. So you take these, sometimes you can even set them on the floor. You can lay on it and then you can use your body to just roll on it. That's very effective. So those are very effective. The last thing we're going to talk about is nutrition. So a lot of people like to when they leave the gym they have a nutritious meal. Sometimes they'll have chicken and rice, salmon, a lot of lean meats, a lot of things with a lot of protein in it. Some people like protein shakes, a lot of people like different things, but to get that proper nutrition right after the gym, a lot of people like to take protein shakes or creatine. You can use one of these, use a shaker bottle. A lot of people like to have a little tiny ball in there. That way, it helps to break up some of the clumps that are in the protein and powder and the creatine powder because it does clump up. So to get the best use and get the best nutrition after the gym, you want to use that shaker bottle and have that ball in there. That way, your nutrition is it's better for the muscles, and that timing also matters too. If you take it right after the gym, it gives your body that chance to replace those muscle fibers that have just been destroyed while you were in the gym. So, to conclude, the gym is honestly a 24-hour process. So, it's not just being at the gym, it's not just recovering afterwards, it's the recovery after sleep, it's the nutrition that you get the day before the gym, it's the nutrition that you get before going into the gym that same day. It's just a 24-hour process. It never really stops if you're trying to make a lifestyle out of it. So, to recover, we want to make sure that we're rolling those muscles, we hydrate, and we have the nutrients to rebuild those muscles. So, I hope this speech was informative. I hope this speech was encouraging other people to go to the gym, and hopefully gives people a sense to not be intimidated when they're at the gym, and so that they know, maybe I'll be sore afterwards, and that they can have the proper way to recover after the gym. Okay. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. And